You played as a defensive end at Oklahoma State. What or who inspired you to follow your playing career by getting into strength and conditioning coaching?
Who inspired me? I would have to immediately say a guy by the name of Rob Glass. He is currently the director of strength and conditioning at Oklahoma State University. He's my mentor. He's like a father figure to me, and you know he's been very influential in my life and as a man and as a professional in this field.
I saw an interview with you online where you said he is one of the very best in the business. What is it about him that's so effective that makes you look up to him so much?
Well, the two things that stand out most about Rob Glass, in my opinion, are his attention to detail and his consistency above anything else. You know, those are two qualities that are hard to find, but to do it on a consistent basis, I mean, that tells a lot about who he is and who I try to pattern myself to be.
You look at strength coaches around the country at different schools. Some of them are sort of professor-like teachers. Some of them are yellers and screamers. Some of them are disciplinarian, drill sergeant types. How would you describe your coaching style?
I would describe my coaching style of, I guess, a mix of them all. You know, I don't have necessarily a set style. I kind of go out there and certain expectations are set before I go out there, so I know what the workload is going to be. Whoever I have to be and whatever I have to do to get that out of the team that I'm training at that time, that's who I take on. I take on that person.
You worked with Van Malone at Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. He's now SMU's new defensive coordinator. What role did he play in helping to get you to SMU?
He played a major role in getting me here to SMU. Once he was hired, took the position as defensive coordinator. He then told Coach Morris he had a guy that would be a great fit for us in the strength and conditioning department, and gave him my name. Coach Morris then contacted me and saw if I would be interested, and you know it was kind of a shock at first, you know, because I was in a very comfortable position at Oklahoma State, and I was still working for my mentor, working for the guy that I played for, Mike Gundy, and I don't know, it would take a lot for me to leave that situation. And when I came down and met with Coach Morris, we got to talk shop a little bit, and got a feel for one another, and felt like it'd be in both our best interests in me joining his staff down here.
When you had those first conversations with Coach Morris, mm-hmm. and he decided, you're the guy I want to lead the strength program for my football team, what were the first things that he asked you to implement in his players? What are the first kind of changes or improvements he wants to see in his guys from you and your staff?
First thing was mental toughness. Next thing was discipline. And with him being a high-tempo, high offense guy, he wanted a team that'd be able to go. Our program is a 3-tier program. That first tier of that program is that it's football specific. Everything that we do in the weight room, outside on the field, is going to be helped to make somebody a better football player. Okay, so we're not going to try to turn anybody into a bodybuilder or a power lifter. So we try to do things, sport-specific movements. We do a lot of ground-based training on our feet, because the game is played on your feet. You know, it's played from the waist down. So we spend a lot of time developing the lower body strength. Okay, the second tier of that 3-tier program is that it's position-specific. The needs of an offensive lineman are different from the needs of a running back or a wide receiver. So therefore, the programs are different on that level. You know, our linemen, defensive and offensive linemen, we need to be strong, physical at the point of contact. So their program is going to incorporate a lot of power-based exercises to where we can achieve that. Whereas the speed guys, those fast guys on the edge, we want those guys to be explosive, able to move out in space and make a guy miss. So we have specific things within the workout that help address those needs. Thirdly, we have an individualized approach to the program. So once a guy shows up on campus, we do a program called Fusionetics in the training room, to where we identify any imbalances or pre-existing injuries in any athlete. And then we from there, I guess, prescribe what's called prehab movements, rehabilitation exercises. You know, when you get hurt, you go to the training room and do what's called rehab. We actually implement those exercises at the end of a guy's workout to address those needs when the body's fatigued and when the body's tired, because that's the most likely time that you're going to get injured. You know, we specifically target the ankles, the knees, the hips, and the shoulder joints.
Is that Is that a new trend in strength and conditioning, doing the prehab work, or is that something that more and more programs around the country are adding?
That's something I can't speak for other programs because I can only speak for what we do here at SMU, but it's something that people should really look into because our job as strength and conditioning professionals are to develop these athletes, are to help them become better players. But the bottom line, if they're not healthy, then they can't perform in their field of play.
You've been here a little over a month now, I guess. You've been working out with the football team. What are your initial impressions of the guys that you've inherited?
My initial impressions of the guys that I've inherited will be that we've got a group of guys that are fresh. They're young-minded, they're young in their way of thinking because I don't think that they've been shown, I guess, how much they can actually achieve with just some good old-fashioned hard work. You know, so we're down to the basics right now. Right now, I tell all the guys we're laying the foundation. You know, any building that you build is never going to be a great building unless that foundation is laid and that foundation is right. So no matter if a guy's a senior, a redshirt junior, or a freshman, we teach everyone from the same. We start from ground zero and we're building up on top of that just to make sure that the foundation that we lay is solid. So anything that we do build on top of that, it'll sustain and last the test of time.
A lot of times when a coach takes over a team, they'll say it'll take 2 or 3 years to fully implement an offense or a defense. Does that apply to strength and conditioning? Does it take a while for you and your staff to put in a full program, or are they getting everything they're going to get now and just sort of their heads are swimming and they got to work their way through it?
With everything in life, I feel it's a progression. You know, any great teacher, any great mentor, any great student, I mean, there's steps, there's different levels to everything that you do. So with that being said, like we're in that foundation stage right now. We're in the beginning phases, so we're just really just trying to show these guys how to work. What are our expectations? What are the things that we want from them when they come to when they come to work out each and every day? We ask those guys for 3 things. Those 3 things are effort, attitude, and finish. First one being effort. That's something that they control. You know, because the workouts are just words written on a piece of paper. The effort that you put into that workout, that's the kind of results you're going to get from that. The second one being attitude. Attitude is also something that they can control. So we ask the guys to show up with a great attitude. If they don't show up with a great attitude, we just simply ask them to leave the weight room, and then we ask them to come back at a later time after talking to our Stairmaster for a few minutes. We call that the attitude adjuster. Thirdly, we ask for finish. Finish is something that they also control as well. Coach Morris being a tempo guy, you know, he always wants to start fast. We need to stay fast, but most importantly, we need to finish fast. We see we're in a day and age where teams start out so fast, but the thing is they don't have the structure and the discipline to sustain and do that all the way to the finish. So no matter if a guy's beating a guy in a race by 1 yard or he's losing by 100 yards, we always encourage each and every athlete to finish everything that we do. Because if you instill it now while they're in the ground phase, this foundation phase, then it occurs naturally when we're out there on Saturday nights here in the fall.
From a strength and conditioning standpoint, what's the biggest difference that Pony fans will see between the team that ended last year and the team that takes the field in the fall against Baylor?
Well, I can't really speak on the team from last year because I was not a part of that program, but I can assure you that the team that takes the field this fall against Baylor will have a sense of pride in what they do. They have discipline, they have structure, they'll be tough physically and mentally, and they'll have the attitude that they can go out and accomplish anything that they put their mind to. I can't sit up here and guarantee wins and losses because I'm not a ball coach. All I do is try to enhance athletic ability, but I can assure you that these guys mentally and physically will be prepared to take on anybody in the country.